Hello everybody, this is Vector. Welcome to my Bomberman tutorial. I noticed there weren't many Bomberman tutorials on YouTube, so I decided to make my own. This was originally going to be a tutorial for Super Bomberman R Online, but that does not have a local mode. So instead, I'm going to do it in this game, which is Power Bomberman, a fan game worked on for almost like 10 years, so it's pretty good. And I'm going to explain the basics. These basics should apply to basically every Bomberman game. There will be slight things that differ, but you should be able to get the gist. I will only be explaining the differences between this and Bomberman R Online for simplicity's sake. I do recommend that game specifically because it's free, it's on Steam, and has online play, so it's pretty easy for most beginners to get into. So, to begin Bomberman, you can simply place a bomb. So at the beginning, you'll mainly want to be destroying these soft blocks, which are the brown blocks here, and then you and your opponents will be slowly working towards the center until you can basically fight each other. Depending on how many people on the map, you'll obviously run into some people earlier than others. Make sure you don't bomb power-ups because that'll mean you won't be able to get them. Unless they're bad, like the rubber bomb. And you'll be able to find these. So, let me explain these power-ups right here. So, the fire, the bomb, and the roller skates. These are, you can see them on the right, these are the most simple power-ups. They can stack up to around 8 times, and they just, well, you'll see. So fire extends how far your fire reaches. So let's see, yeah, so right now you'll see the fire is 2 by default. That does depend in R Online, but if we grab it, now it's 3. So that means that my bombs will reach 3 blocks. That won't be clear because I don't have that much space right now. But you'll see that it can reach all the way up to the top left corner here. The bombs increases how many bombs you can place at a time. So right now I can place 3 bombs, but not anything more than that. And then the roller skates, you'll see black has on the bottom right. That just increases your movement. So nothing too fancy there, but it can be pretty helpful if you want to run away from bombs. So back to white, you'll see that he has access to a boxing glove and a bomb kick. So these are ability power-ups. They change how you're able to interact with bombs. So for bomb kick, I can just walk into a bomb and then that'll kick it. I'm also able to stop it mid-flight depending on the game. Just gotta remember what button that is again. It is in R Online too, but I always forget. There it is. I think on controller it is the shoulder button, the right shoulder button, but it might depend. You'll have to check the settings for that one. And then bomb punch, you'll be able to punch bombs. That button is the left face button on the controller. You can only do it for bombs that you are facing, and they'll go about 2 blocks far before exploding. You can also wrap around the sides of the screen as they showed there. In R Online, this will be disabled at the beginning of every match, but obviously you can do it afterwards. This can be very fun for catching people off guard. Like you'll see black here, and then I can send them a delivery. So the last ability power-up here is the Power Glove. So you use this by hitting the bomb button while you're on top of your own bomb. You can hold this down to carry it as long as you want, and this will not explode on you, so you don't have to worry about that. That might be different in another Bomberman game, but that's how it works in R Online and in this game, so you're fine. Then it'll be tossed around 2 to 3 blocks depending on the game. I think R Online is 3, but here it's 2. So you'll see that I am getting pretty strong. I have tons of fire, tons of bombs, very dangerous stuff. Those are the main power-ups before I get into the bomb power-ups, but we'll find those eventually. There we go. So this is a pass-through bomb. It can also be called spiky bomb, whatever. But basically its explosion goes through soft blocks. There are no explosions that can go through hard blocks though, at least with these power-ups. So you don't have to worry about that. They'll also go through items, which will block the explosions of normal bombs. But yeah. Let's see. There is one more bomb I want to talk about, which is a rubber bomb. Oh, there we go. Okay, so like I said, if you kick them, they bounce around, and then if you throw them, they'll bounce in a random direction. This is completely unpredictable, and you have to be very careful about it, because it can blow you up. Okay, so now we got all that out of the way, we're going to talk about defense. Obviously not always the most exciting thing, but Bomberman is about the last man standing. So whoever wins is the person who survives. So the most basic thing something you have been seeing me do a ton is to stand perpendicular from the explosion. That's very obvious. Like, you know, if you don't want to get hit, don't be near the explosion radius. But I have seen a lot of newer players just do this, which is very, very dangerous. It's like looking into the barrel of a gun. You don't want to do that. Because sometimes the explosion will be bigger than you expect, sometimes not, you know. So be careful about that. You usually want to do this unless you are absolutely sure or there's like a very good reason for it. And that sounds basic and all, but like once you start factoring in a million bombs on screen, then you'll have to start paying attention to where they are, where the perpendiculars are, so that you don't get hit. You saw right there, Black Bomber has a health bar. I forgot to change the settings. In R Online, you will die immediately if you touch a bomb explosion. You are able to take 2 hits, as long as you have a heart, which you're given at the beginning of every round. But in most Bomberman games, most of the time, you will die in 1 hit. So you have to be very careful about bombs. And again, your own bombs can hurt yourself, so be careful. What else? So in terms of defensive techniques, there's one more I wanted to talk about. Well, there's a few actually. So first of all, our ability power-ups. So obviously you can kick bombs. This is very important if, for example, you're trapped. So let's say that I'm standing right here and then someone places these 2 bombs around me. You'll see that White Bomber panics there because in normal circumstances you'd be trapped. But you can get out using Bomb Kick. You can get out using Bomb Punch. And those are actually the only 2 ways. There are also times that there will be 2 bombs and you can't actually kick that. So a common thing you might encounter is that you're inside like a corner from like one of the soft blocks or whatever, and someone will pile 2 bombs on you. And that'll make it so you can't get out if you have kick, you can only get out if you have punch. So that's why I consider Bomb Punch to be one of the most important power-ups. You have to get this. Otherwise people can trap you and it won't be a fun time. The other defensive technique I want to talk about is bomb blocking. So if I had a pass-through bomb, it would not be able to go through bombs. This is very important. Because we can see here that Black's explosions are very small. He hasn't gone to power up all day. If you play Green Bomber in Super Bomberman R Online, his bomb explosions will be even tinier, only 1 block explosions. And, you know, that might make it like, oh, so his bombs are useless. But you can actually block explosions with a bomb. This won't be super helpful most of the time, since in most Bomberman games you'll want to be very powerful by the end. But if you find yourself in a situation where you can only be saved by blocking yourself with a bomb, then that is worth knowing. Because now, White's enormous bombs will not be able to reach me. Okay, so I think that's it in terms of defensive techniques. Next I'm going to talk about offensive techniques. Okay, yeah, so if someone's defensive techniques are really good, and they should be, if you're playing against competent players, especially in like something like Super Bomberman R Online, where you can beat anybody and they might be really good and they'll be dodging every single one of your bombs and it won't matter what you do. The reason why combat can be tough in Bomberman is because of timers. So obviously a bomb will take 1, 2, 3 seconds to explode, and that's very easy to react to. Especially me coming from fighting games, it's like, you will not get hit by this bomb ever. You can place all the bombs you like, but as long as they know what they're doing, they will find the blind spots and then they'll hide in them. So, one of the biggest things you can do is to use chains. I've been using chains the whole time, but it all depends on timing. So, let's say that I have this bomb and I place it down and let the fuse run for 2 seconds or so, and then I place another bomb. That was one, that was two. Boom. A lot quicker, right? So this can be used for a few things. Let's say, for example, Black is over here. My bomb shouldn't be able to reach him. I'm actually going to make him back up a bit just to make sure. Boom. So that bomb's not going to hit him, right? But if I prime this bomb and then boom, it'll reach him. And that is a lot harder to react, as you can tell. And the other thing I can do is wraparounds. So let's say I place a bomb here and then Black hides here. And he'll be like, oh, I'm safe because he can't hit me. So let's say that I place this, and then boom. Now, it's a lot harder to react to. I'll have clips of Super Bomberman R Online because I did actually use this against online opponents. They might have been bots, but you can tell from the clips that it is pretty hard to react to. The next technique I'll show is using the Power Glove and the Punching Glove. So if you throw these on top of players, it'll actually stun them for a bit. In this game, power-ups will also come out of them. I don't think that's how it works in R Online, but obviously stunning someone is pretty powerful. In this game, you'll see that the stun is pretty short, but in R Online, it's pretty long. And I'm pretty sure that you can stun lock people just by throwing them over and over again. And there's basically nothing that they can do about it. So that also works for Bomb Punch. Poor Black. But yeah, there's that. You can also throw bombs over the sides. This is a very annoying technique that lots of people online use, where they will just throw bombs over and over again, especially if they're rubber bombs, and then they will just be able to cover the entire map because they bounce around randomly. Very fun. You can also use the bomb kick and then surprise people like that, and maybe even kill them instantly. Let's see here. So that's most of what I wanted to talk about. Those are a lot of the main techniques you'll be using. You'll want to throw your opponent off by using timers and traps in order to make it harder for them to react to whatever you're throwing at them. Okay, so there's one more technique I wanted to talk about. I guess it could be found under an offensive technique. It's a little bit silly, but there is one place that you can hide a bomb, and that is underneath your player model. So let's say that me and Black are like right next to each other. and we're just chilling. We're trying to wait out like a bomb explosion or something, and we're just trying not to get hit by it. And all of a sudden, I place down a bomb. He can't see it, and then I walk away, and now he's dead. Again, it's a little silly, but it can't work. And in a competitive environment, you gotta use whatever you can. So I think that's most of what I wanted to talk about. There are some finer details, like the fact that Lubies give you an extra life. They can. He actually has a dash ability in R Online, which you can use with the ability button. There's a bunch of different characters in R Online. Yeah, and there's a bunch of special mechanics like ramps, ice, and all that. But I don't have all the time in the world. I can't go over all of that. And in terms of a universal Bomberman tutorial, I'm hoping this does well enough. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps more people get into Bomberman and especially get a bit better at the game. Coming from competitive fighting games, I was a little disappointed that Bomberman doesn't have like a huge set of resources or tutorials or even like competitive play at all. So I do hope this helps people out, and bye bye.